Hey, yo. You know, originally I wasn't going to make a video about Steve Urkel until last week when I had my holiday watch party. Yeah, I know, I've been sitting on this for a week. It's holiday season. What do you want from me? So as part of the lineup for the holiday watch party, we watched a Family Matters episode entitled It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Urkel. A Christmas episode where Laura, after sternly or harshly letting Steve know that she has grown tired of him being what could be best described by Destiny's Child as... she is given a glimpse into an alternate reality where she's the one endlessly pining over Steve.
You, Steve. Now wind up that car and drive out of my life. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to talk about you. And I don't want to hear about you. I wish you knew what it was like to be me.
You wish that Steve Urkel could find out what it's like to be you. Now you're about to find out what it's like to be Steve Urkel.
And while Laura was Steve in this alternate reality, she was just as much an annoying bugaboo to Steve as Steve was to her.
Steve, my little stud muppet.
What do you want, Laura?
Your hand in marriage, but I'll settle for a Christmas kiss.
And after Steve harshly and sternly let her know that he's had enough of it, it forces Laura to make the realization that maybe she's been a little harsh on Steve and hasn't really been taking Steve's feelings into consideration.
Stop it! I have had it with you, Laura. I want you out of my life. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to talk about you. And I don't want to hear about you. From this moment on, you don't exist.
But I have feelings just like anybody else. I mean, I love Steve with all my heart, but he didn't love me back. It was awful. I should have been nicer to Steve. I wish I hadn't yelled at him and hurt his feelings.
Now, before I continue, let me just say that Steve Urkel is one of my favorite pop culture icons for reasons totally unrelated to what I'm about to talk about. And yes, let me get it out the way that I understand that this was totally in a different time. That being said, as I watched this episode unfold, it suddenly dawned on me that the messaging in this episode is incredibly weird, and you'll see what I mean. It actually made me realize that Urkel may have been too buggy of a boo to Laura. When you watch other episodes of Family Matters, you also see that he comes on way too strong with Laura. He borderline harasses the out of Laura. Now, let me just say this as a quick little aside. Harassment comes in many different forms. Just because Urkel wasn't grabbing on and kissing on Laura like he was Pepe Le Pew or Johnny Bravo doesn't mean he still wasn't harassing her. Despite the fact that she repeatedly tells and shows him that she's not interested, he persists in calling her pet names.
So, my little macadamia nut, do you miss me? Like I miss a root canal.
Laura, my fragile flower. You smell especially fragrant today.
Oh, you'll find out soon enough, my little Tootsie Pop.
Soliciting himself to her.
For 2 wonderful weeks, you and I have pretended to be man and wife. And now, on this, our last night, we can make each other's dreams come true. With a kiss. One kiss. A peck on the cheek. A momentary osculation.
Forget it, I have a headache.
I thought you might say that, so I came prepared. Aspirin, baby?
I think that we should celebrate it by
Getting married.
No.
Engaged.
No.
Going steady.
No.
A date.
No.
A kiss.
No.
A handshake.
No.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Giving her those weird seductive eyes and a whole bunch of other stuff.
You know I could hold you like this forever.
You got 1 more second.
Ooh.
So we're still friends?
Oh, absolutely.
Good, because over the last 2 weeks, I actually started to miss you a eensy wincy itsy bitsy bit.
You love me, don't you?
No!
Oh, Laura, my heart is blasting 40 love songs in a row with no commercial interruptions. Oh, Laura, my pet, I pursued you before, but baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And all the while, he continues to be her friend with the hope and expectation that she'll fall in love with him.
When will you realize that I will never feel the way about you that you feel about me?
Oh, yes, you will. And it's my vision of that glorious moment that keeps my little heart beating.
I'm sorry, Steve, but you've got a long wait.
And that's a whole other conversation about whether or not he truly values her as a friend and as a person rather than just a romantic conquest, but I digress. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. For the longest time, I interpreted Steve's actions towards Laura as it being endearingly and innocently him applying pressure, and rationalize it by saying that, hey, Laura's the love of his life, so he's not going to settle for anything less. Even though he would have been much happier with Myra. And maybe I, as well as many others, interpreted it that way because we were made to believe that it was supposed to be that, endearing and innocent. But this episode here, in the ways that the writers chose to go about this plot, it stared me dead in the face. The biggest problem with this episode is how it tries to shame Laura into being nicer to and more considerate of Urkel and his feelings, despite the fact that she's the one who's constantly being harassed. She's the one whose boundaries continues to be ignored. I'm sorry, but that is harmful messaging. And it's crazy because this episode attempted to do the classic role reversal trope, and it only forced Laura to learn a lesson and not Steve. And it's especially harmful and reductive to Laura as a character if she's made to be the bad guy in the situation while Urkel is the sympathetic character, almost as if the writers are trying to gaslight her into being okay with Urkel's behavior towards her simply because he has real feelings towards her. As a matter of fact, this episode actually reminds me of another episode a season prior called Robo Nerd. You know, the episode where Urkel built an artificially intelligent and seemingly sentient machine that he dubbed the Urkelbot.
Urkelbot has artificial intelligence, and that means he can walk and think all by himself. By my calculations, his intelligence doubles every 20 minutes.
Every 18 minutes and 35 seconds to be exact.
Who, fun fact, was played by the legendary Michael Boogaloo Chambers. Everything seemed to have been going fine up until the moment where the Urkelbot laid its eyes on Laura.
Hey guys,
Whoa, mama!
From there, Urkelbot would proceed to, well, harass the absolute out of Laura for the rest of the episode.
Urkelbot's kinda cute.
And you, my dear, are a sight for sore optical scanners. I think I'm in love. How about a kiss? Oh, Laura!
You will marry me, and we will function happily ever after. Come on, baby, let's energize.
Steve, how do you cut him off?
You can't, he's out of control.
Steve, help me, he's after me, I don't know what to do.
Like creator, like creation. Tale as old as time. At the end of the episode, after Urkel had to shut down Urkelbot, after Urkelbot had gone haywire, he says this.
But Laura, Urkelbot was a machine with feelings. He fell hopelessly in love with you. So let's be honest. The only thing he was really guilty of was having good taste.
But that doesn't make it okay. Urkel is rationalizing the robot's behavior. The robot in which he programmed to be artificially intelligent, sentient, and emulative of his mannerisms, his speech, his movements, and yes, his love for Laura. He's excusing Urkelbot being a creep to Laura as a display of real human emotions that she should be flattered by. That's kind of dangerous. If he's able to do that with a machine that he created to be exactly like him, imagine the mental gymnastics he must play on himself to rationalize his own behavior. Urkel has a lot of great qualities, and he's probably the second most intelligent character in all of 90s pop culture and fiction. I'll get to that in another video. But what Urkel surely lacks, especially when it comes to Laura, is emotional intelligence, perspective, and true understanding. And it's a shame because the writers could have done a better job, at the very least in the Christmas episode, to change that. Because the best way to do this episode, especially if they were going to be going the route of the role reversal trope, was to do it where Urkel sees things from Laura's perspective and learns to be more considerate of her feelings, as well as maybe ease up off her a bit and move on with a better understanding of her and her boundaries. I mean, how is it even that Pepe Le Pew and Johnny Bravo got those type of episodes, but Urkel didn't? Though, of course, in true 90s fashion, if he did get an episode like that, he probably would have learned his lesson by the end of the episode and then gone back to harassing her after a few episodes. But at least there would have been an attempt made.